God. Welcome to Up the Villa podcast. If you're new, help us out, subscribe. That'll just probably make this episode a little bit better. Hit the like button and comment your thoughts down below. Joined by Justin and Ryan. You both all right?
Yeah.
No.
Too bad.
Bar humbug.
Right. I've got to say, that was absolutely dire. Like, it was terrible. We are reacting to Manchester United 3, Aston Villa 2, a match reaction. So the disclaimer is that we are reacting to the game that we have just watched. I don't think we need to take context from anything else other than the game that we have just watched. And it was terrible. Absolutely awful. I mean, I can't understand how we've started the game off pretty well. Like, the shape looked good. The control looked good. We were well in the game. We were zipping it around quite nicely. We've gone 2-0 up. And then as soon as that happened, we just completely thought, do you know what? Should we just have a chill now and just not bother? Because that's what it looked like. We were 2-0 up at Old Trafford and literally just decided to down tools and not bother doing anything. The passing was absolutely terrible. The bravery had just disappeared. We were just, and go back to that old saying that Dino used to say, like, be a good teammate. And we just weren't good teammates. We were just passing it to players who were completely under pressure, had got nowhere to go. There was just no bravery, no urgency, no quality. Players disappeared for me, just completely disappeared. And it was all down to us why we lost that game. We let them get back in that game. We let them get a bit of an ascendancy. And it all started from that first half. From the minute we went 2-0 up, the second half, it was all Manchester United then. And then second half, all Manchester United again. I just can't believe it. Like, where we are, what we're doing, we've had a mare. We've really, really had a mare. And I'll probably say that's probably the worst we've played under Emery after that 2-0 period. Like, I can't remember us playing that bad. I don't know why the subs took so long to come on. It was glaringly obvious that McGinn and players like that were just done. Like, there was no energy. There was sapped of everything, and we just waited and waited for all that momentum to just keep going for United. And obviously, Højlund scored. Obviously, we said it in the preview. Obviously, he's got the winner. I'm not happy really, because I thought we played absolutely terrible. And from a 2-0 period of where we were, like, that was old Villa. That was. That ain't the Villa we've been watching for the last year and a bit now. Someone want to carry on?
I thought we was a bit loose first 10 minutes, if I'm brutally honest. I did drop that in the group chat. I think the passing was a little bit lax. They were trying to play out from the back, and you could see the odd pass going astray, and things weren't quite as sharp as they have been. Yet we managed to, to get 2-0 up from two set plays. They've made a massive cock up with the first, and it's gone straight in. Poor goalkeeping for me. And then the second one, we take advantage of a little flick on and the right place at the right time, and he gets the toe end and it's in 2-0. But after that, really, I thought United played well. I've got to be honest. I thought they played really well tonight. It's not the Man United I've watched over the last month or so. They've been pretty dreadful. But I thought they turned up tonight. Second half, they grasped the game by the scruff of the neck, and we weren't good enough to get back in it, was we? It's not something we're used to seeing from the Villa team. He's giving so much possession and so much control in a game, and we could never regain it, could we? And I think we all watched that game thinking if they get one here, we could be in trouble, and that's how it played out, unfortunately. And it's a shame to see it, especially as the run of form we've been on and the way we've been playing. We don't come on here very often and say we haven't been very good, but we wasn't very good, was we? I think it's blatantly obvious to see tonight. We was not at it. lots of things were going wrong. Passes were going astray. I thought Carlos was very loose from the back. Then Donker did okay. You know, he gets a lot of stick. Yes, he scored, but he doesn't give you the energy. He doesn't give you the ball playing ability of a Kamara. We're missing Tielemans, who was just hitting a purple patch in the middle of the park. Ramsey still looks a little bit off the pace. There's lots of contributory factors to why we're not currently on it. And away at Old Trafford, they've had that, typical for us, they had that injection of good news, didn't they? With a bit of a mini takeover of them, and you know, the fans are suddenly a little bit enthused. And at 2-0 up, you think we're going to go on and hopefully just see the game out, but they get the first, and after that, they were pretty much at will, just rampaging for us. But we didn't help ourselves tonight, and I think Unai will be absolutely devastated with how that second half went. You know, the amount of times we lost possession, we didn't, you know, look after the ball well enough, and we didn't really look a threat. Having said that, we did still create one or two chances towards the end of the half. McGinn has a really good chance to score, and he sort of hits it into the ground, and it doesn't go in, and one or two half chances. But if I'm brutally honest, I don't think we deserve to win the game tonight. I think we deserve what we got, and it's a bitter pill to swallow, I'm afraid.
I can't believe it. Ryan,
I can believe it, mate, because we've seen this result so many times against United over the years. You think back to Macheda's goal, that 3-2. They've done us at Villa Park in the FA Cup the once when we were 2-0 up, and like you said, this is a new Villa, but it felt like they're an old Villa, and it didn't really feel like a Unai Emery performance. You know, you cast your mind back to last season, where we go 2-0 up. Look at, I think it was Tottenham away last season. 2-0 up, we'd shut shop up, man. We would shut the shop up, and we haven't been doing it this season for one reason or another. And me, I'm watching that game and I'm screaming for changes. I'm screaming for them. Like, you know, the diagonal balls done us last season at Old Trafford, and they were doing us again. They were finding Rashford time and time again with that diagonal. Like last season, we would have dropped Matty Cash in. We would have gone 6 at the back, wouldn't we? Or something like that. Also, McGinn, when we were on top, that first 20 minutes, 25 minutes, he was terrific in that position. But then I'm screaming for him in the second half, getting back in there, getting back in the middle, because the midfield today completely bypassed. Douglas Luiz didn't get a sniff. And when Dougie's not on it and dictating play, then we really, really struggle. There were so many off performances. Like, I did expect United to have a bit of a resurgence today. They've been on a terrible run. The new owner's coming in, or he's bought a majority of the club. So, I expected an upbeat atmosphere. And the first 25 minutes, terrific. Killed the game, killed the crowd. We got ourselves 2-0 up, and they were brilliant goals. Brilliant, well-planned Austin McPhee goals, weren't they? They were superbly executed. And they looked awful. United looked awful, dead buried. I could not see a way, honestly, that we could not lose that game. I expected us to go and score more. I was thinking, flipping out, we could get 4 or 5 here. We could really, really embarrass them. But then we just conceded possession, conceded the momentum, and we couldn't stall or halt United's momentum, and like it just grew and grew. And I think every Villa fan deep down knew what was going to happen. I'm still raging about it, but I think I knew what was going to happen because we've seen it so many times. But I'm just a bit disappointed of the way we managed the game today. I didn't think we managed it good. And Unai's been absolutely terrific. But if you're looking at just this game, like you said at the start of the show, Luke, I think the second half could have been managed better from what we had on the bench compared to what United had on the bench.
Yeah, I think he's had a bit of a mare. I mean, we know that our offside trap is very, very good. We know that. And what we want with the offside trap is for it to work like every time it's needed upon sort of like a period of time. So every 10 minutes, we use the offside trap and we play them offside. But today, it just felt like we were just like, okay, they play a ball and it's like, okay, we'll try and do it. And then another ball like 2 seconds later, and then another ball. And it was just like, are we not going to like, and I know you don't want to just like sort of just say no to your principles, but you've got to have a little bit of like defensive nous to say, do you know what? That they keep doing this and they keep getting in. Like the time when Carlos brought him down, yeah, and he was offside. It was going to be a penalty, but he was offside. I just felt like today, like it was inevitable that they were going to keep getting in, and they were going to get in, and then they were going to end up scoring, and that's where their goals come from. But I'm just frustrated from that 25-minute mark of how we just our game just evaporated, and I'm just frustrated with that really. And like you're saying, like, you know, we play this 4-4-2, the 4-2-2-2. But it felt like today that like Ramsey was just completely out of the game, and it just needed like a little bit of a shift with maybe his position, or maybe the two either side of the double pivot to just sort of like drop in a little bit more and become more compact. But it just felt like we were just sitting ducks during that second half, and it was just like we were doing the same old thing, and we were just getting found out throughout that second half. And I just wanted us to sort of just react a little bit and do something to sort of like negate how much space they were having in the middle of the park. You know, we'd lose the ball in the middle, and you'd have like Ericsson in like acres of space, and you were like, where is everyone? Like, where's the midfield disappeared to? So I think that's why I'm really frustrated. Like, I'm frustrated that we were 2-0 up and we've ended up losing. And I'm frustrated with the performance, because even though we've got players out, like we've got Power, we've got Torre, we've got Tielemans, etc. Like, we've made this point on the pod all season that we're not going to be that team that just keep giving out excuses like this player's injured or whatever. So we've got excuses. Like, we're not that team anymore, and we should be able now to have players that can come in and just do the Unai role, do what they are meant to do. And I just think we weren't able to do it, and we really lost our way. And you know, we've had a bit of a wake-up call in the last two games now, like big wake-up calls, and we need to sort of fix up and get back on track, I think, because, you know, we've kind of lost our way a little bit, and it's quite frustrating. So does anyone else want to add anything?
Yeah.
And we'll go to player ratings?
I think whilst I'm not in the business of excusing them, and I'm on board with that, I think it does show that the squad depth isn't quite where we need it to be, and we are a way ahead of where we probably thought we would be. I know we've said this a lot. That's not to say we shouldn't have won the last two games, because I think realistically we should have won the last two games, especially being 2-0 up. But I think if you look at the bench tonight and the midfielders where we lost the game, I think if you look overall, then we've only got one centre midfielder on the bench, one actual midfielder, and that's Timur Abunam, who hasn't played all season. He's a young kid. So the depth of the squad, the Kamara sending off now is looking an absolutely critical thing to have happened, because I think if we have him in the last two games, I think we probably win them two games. I really do. So it just shows that we've got to keep our head, calm. I think we will add, and I think centre midfield is a position he'll be looking at in the January window, because we've looked light there. We've only lost two players, and all of a sudden we've got nothing on the bench to come on in a circumstance like tonight, when we're 2-0 up and we're losing a bit of control in the middle of the park, and all we've got really is defenders and attackers to change the game, and we needed to change the midfield. We needed legs, like you say. We didn't really need to change Ramsey and Bailey for attackers. We needed to change them for a midfielder that can come in and, like Ryan said it last season, would have seen us go 6 at the back, 4 holding midfielders, and we'd have just saw the game out. We didn't have that tonight, because we didn't have the players on the bench to play like that. So we had to go like for like with the two changes, and then eventually.
Justin, don't you think he could have put McGinn back in there during that second half period?
Maybe then you lose the legs, because I think I'm not digging Ramsey out, but he just, since he's come back from his injury, he hasn't had that. His form hasn't been anywhere near, has it? And he's having to try and play himself into form, which is a very difficult thing to do. And McGinn a bit of a jack of all trades, isn't he? And he probably could have sat in, but I don't know. If you do put him in there, I'm still thinking that you've got to take some. Let's say you take Dan Doncroft and put McGinn in there. You've still got to put a player on in that position McGinn was in. I would have liked to have seen a more central midfield player coming on, like a Kamara or a Tielemans that could do everything. Whereas if you do that and drop McGinn into that double pivot, you've only got a Zaniolo or a Diaby to come off the bench. So you're not adding that strength in the middle of the park, are you? So, we are a bit light, and I think that the suspensions and the injuries have come at a really bad time for us, but it doesn't excuse the performance. We wasn't on it tonight, and we've gifted them a win, in my opinion, unfortunately.
Yeah, I agree. Right, we'll go through the player ratings then. We will have a debrief out tomorrow morning, so strap yourself in for that. Right, so let's fly through them then. What we're saying, Martinez?
Didn't really have. You can't really fault him for any of the other goals, can you?
Nah.
He had that one where he rushed out and clearly took the ball against Rashford.
One was deflected as well.
One of them was deflected off Carlos, wasn't it? So, and the other one's that snapshot in the box. So, I don't know. What can you?
I thought Longley was the best out of the two centre halves. I thought Konsa was poor. Carlos, was poor.
Oh, he gave the ball away for that one goal, didn't he?
I thought Konsa probably was our best player
for the corner, didn't he? For the winner.
For me, I think for me, Ezri Konsa was our best player tonight.
What you saying, 7?
I think he played pretty well, to be honest. I think he did well on that right side.
Luis had a bad game, didn't he?
Yeah,
I think he was just isolated, wasn't he, Luis? Trying to do everything in the middle of the park.
Yeah, but we should have sorted that out. You know what I mean? We've got players that can adapt and change. And
we have, and the biggest problem tonight when we did the team, looking at the team selection, was who do you play alongside Dendoncker? And a lot of people, I like McGinn in there, but you're losing from a bit further forward. So we've got very little options. So you had to put Dendoncker in. I think that was the obvious choice. But unfortunately for him, he's just not mobile enough, is he? He's okay. He's a bit of a lump, and he's a bit of a bloke you can just stick in the middle of the park, but he won't get you. He won't turn and run 20 yards and get you on the attack. He'll stick a foot in and he'll win a header. And then I think that just puts so much pressure on Douglas Luiz to become the main sort of man in the middle of the park that he almost goes missing because he's racing around trying to do everything.
Yeah, we just couldn't get Luiz in the game at all. You mentioned that first 10 minutes, Justin, when we were sloppy, and it was balls trying to find Luiz. Luca Dean, Ramsey, it was all on that side, and he just could not get in the game. And we talk about the offside trap being, we're being caught out time and time again, but that's where the balls were coming from, their midfield. So when they've got that much room and that much space in that midfield, they're just pinging balls. These are top quality players, and they're pinging balls and putting that offside trap under relentless pressure, which normally, like you say, Luke, would only happen X amount of times a game, and we'd execute it perfectly. But just really lacking that. I think we could have moved players around. I hear what you're saying, Justin, with the lack of cover on the bench, but I do think we could have got Ramsey a bit deeper and a bit tighter, pulled McGinn back. I think we could have moved players around that we had available on the pitch at the time just to halt that momentum and then try and get back into it with the likes of Bale, with the likes of Diaby and Zaniolo coming off the bench, and Duran as well. But it just never materialised.
It's difficult, isn't it? Like I said, when you've got Kamara and Luiz in there, then you've got two players that you're happy just to feed the ball into, and they're good enough to spin and go, aren't they? When you've got one, it becomes a very obvious game plan, doesn't it? And they just kept picking it off.
Gonna give Ramsey a 4. It's not happening at the minute. He's off it. He's a level off it at the minute, and he's got to get to that level pretty quickly. Some of the little easy passes just aren't coming off at the minute. I thought Bailey was good. I thought Bailey was a threat. I think I know we said Konsa was the best. I'd say he was probably my man of the match, Bailey. I thought in the first half, his touch and getting at Dalot, I thought he was really, really good.
Yeah. Obviously, the role he played in the goal as well. You know, getting on the line with Banana and getting in his ear, and then walking away from it. So he played a good role tonight.
Yeah, it's just frustrating, really. Like, you know, I am frustrated. I am annoyed. Some people probably won't like me being annoyed and saying what I've said at the start, but I'm just being honest, and it's just my opinion. I'm not here to sort of be a happy clapper from the sidelines. You know, we're trying to achieve something big this season, and you know, you stick in a couple of them, then it's going to evaporate pretty quickly. So. I know we've got injury. I know that, but you know, we've built a level now, and we've got to stick to it, because that's what a top team does. It doesn't just go, okay, you got this and that, and it doesn't matter today. You know, we've made a level for us now, and we've got to maintain it. You know, because if you do drop below that level, then that's what happens, and that's why we're reacting like this, because we're now below a level that we've set. So. Just very frustrated, very annoyed. I think I'm more annoyed it's Man United as well, and they've done it again.
It's always them, isn't it?
Yeah. So, yeah. Does anyone else want to finish off the episode?
Reaction, isn't it? So it's all about the reaction.
It's an honest reaction, yeah. That's all we ask for.
We react on is it Saturday? Oh, I've lost track of what actual date it is. I know it's the 30th we play next. So yeah, and like you said, it's very rare that we'll have two stinkers, won't we, under Unai? So expect a big reaction against Burnley at home. But yeah, it doesn't hide the disappointment for tonight, though, does it, lads? It's tough one to take. And, you know, we're coming here and we're ranting because we're obviously disappointed. We're massive Aston Villa fans, and, you know, it doesn't change the whole big picture and the big project, but you can be disappointed. And, you know, I don't know what Villa fan won't be disappointed about that result tonight.
You can be disappointed and you can still be positive. That's
of course you can. Of course you can, yeah. It doesn't change. It doesn't change the project, does it? You know?
I mean, you know, a very good stat today was is it 9 games? No, that was 8. That was the first time this season we've lost from going ahead. So, you know, and we're at a halfway point and we're in a fantastic position, but we've got to make sure that that's the last time this season we throw a stinker in. Yeah. And if it's 1 in 19 or 1.5 in 19 games, then I'll take that. If we only have 1.5 more poor games in the second half of the season, then I'll take that, because you can't be good every game, unfortunately.
No. Cool. Right, we'll end it there then. Drop your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll be back for a debrief in the morning. So, yeah, I'll get preparing that now. Really excited to do it. But, yeah, cool. Right, I'll speak to you all in a bit. Up the Villa.
Up the Villa.